Hello my friends, today I'm going to be teaching you alternating major minor 7th chords, which is a very cool and somewhat easy way to spice up your improvisations. It's also a good introduction into modulation and playing non-diatonic chords. Additionally, it makes your composition sound sexy, very jazzy, and very impressive. First, I'll show you the basic pattern, and then we'll do a deeper dive. So, step 1. Play a major 7th chord starting anywhere on the keyboard. Here I'm starting on F major 7. Step 2. Go down a half step from your bass note and play the associated minor chord. So, half step from F, we get E. And the associated minor chord, E minor 7. Step 3. Go down another half step and recycle steps 1 and 2. So, another half step down, we get E flat. And this time we play E flat major. Another half step down, D, and this time D minor. Step 4, end on a chord with a strong resolution, and this is going to be based on how many chords you play. So altogether we have. And there you have it, the basic pattern. You could double up the chords in both hands, but sometimes it gets a little bit too muddy when you play a bunch of chords and notes simultaneously. So a voicing I like to do consists of playing the bass note, or the 1 of the 7th chord, in octaves in the left hand, and then playing the 3, 5, 7 notes with the right hand. Here's what it sounds like starting on F sharp major 7. The strong descending chromatic bass notes being emphasized in octaves invokes a sense of falling, which can be a cool effect if that's what you're trying to do. The inclusion of the right hand makes it so that it smoothly transitions between chord progressions in your song. It makes it really, I don't know, sweet. So with this chord progression, ending on a major chord sounds best. But of course you could always end on a minor chord. It's not illegal. In jazz there are no wrong notes. The final chord you do end on will be determined on how many chords you play. Like I mentioned earlier, for now, play an even number of chords. If you play 2 or 4 chords, your final chord will be a fourth below where you started. So if I start on D major and play 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, a fourth down is A. So we start on D, a fourth down, A. Now if you play 6 chords, then you land on the note you started on. So this time I started on D and I ended on D because I played 6 chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, D. Now if you extend this progression to 8 chords, your final note will be an interval of a sixth below your original chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then F. So we start on D, played 8, I'm down to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you're so inclined and you want to do 10 chords, which I think is overkill, then you'll land an interval of a seventh from where you started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we start on D, did 10 chords, we end up on E flat. Sometimes these intervals can be a little overwhelming, so I suggest you start playing 6 chords where you just end on whatever note you started on. It's easy to remember. So if this is all confusing for you, just do 6 chords every time and just land on the chord or note that you started on. So usually when you play non-diatonic chords in a song, it sounds out of place, dissonant, not quite right. However, in this case is an exception because of the chromatics. Chromatics are used everywhere in music, and especially in jazz, because they add color and embellishments. They fill space between notes and passages, and they make great leading tones since they're only one semitone away from each other. With this chord progression, we're utilizing chromatics as functional harmonic tools to lead into the chord or key we want. Here's an example of how I'd use it to change keys from C major to F major. So I started in C, ended in F. Using that, I just played broken chords there. To practice descending major and minor 7th chords, start on any major chord and just go down. You can even start at the very top of the keyboard and just work your way all the way down to the bottom, just alternating those major and minor 7ths. Yeah, it takes a lot of brain power. I'll leave practice sheets in the description for you to follow, because playing it by ear is a little bit tough at first. Even for me, I've been doing this for years and I still have a little bit of trouble, to be honest. But yeah, just go down, do different groups, do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20, I don't care. What you're trying to do is you're trying to understand switching from these major to these minor chords, to these major to these minors, major, minor, major, minor, major, minor, major, minor, major, and so on and so forth. So sometimes I like to start an improvisation with these chords and then land on whatever key I'm feeling that day. You could also use alternating major, minor 7th chords between chords as fillers to jazzify songs. If you wanted to, you can use it to modulate to new keys like I showed you before. And of course, you could always use it to end a song. So let's see. Let me show you a quick example. So in that case, I used it to end a song and modulate into a new key. If you're new to 7th chords, modulation, chromatic scales, this tutorial might be a little bit difficult for you, but I encourage you to test out this nifty trick anyway in your composing. Like with anything I teach, remember the 3 Ps. Practice precedes perfection. Eventually, you'll be busting out these chromatic alternating major, minor 7th chords and all the time in your compositions, and you'll blow people's minds away. So I didn't read or see this trick anywhere in a book or like see someone else play it. I just accidentally stumbled across it while playing one day, and I kept with it. It stayed with me till this very day. And that's how music is sometimes. Sometimes you just accidentally find cool things. And when that happens to me, I like to share it with the world and share it with other musicians so you guys can use this technique in your playing. As always, there's a practice PDF in the description, and keep on making music, keep on spreading the music in your life and in the world, and thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more tutorials.